is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
In the headlines, the Kingdom of Jesus Christ camp held a press conference in Davao City on Thursday to refute all the twisted stories being used against them, including recent statements by the authorities and some government officials claiming their actions were legal and justifiable. The camp also addressed the illegal raids, with the KOJC minister recounting the ordeal when heavily armed authorities stormed to KOJC religious compounds. Also, KOJC's legal counsel disputed the authorities' actions, stating that they violated the rules of engagement. Meanwhile, the Kingdom of Jesus Christ accuses the Philippine National Police of lying about what truly happened in the dawn of June 10. This followed as a press conference by PNP Davao Region, where they claimed their aggressive raid on KOJC compounds was legal and conducted by maximum tolerance while serving an arrest of a warrant. On the other hand, former President Duterte, who is also the administrator of the KOJC properties, stated that he will not overlook the violation of the law and the use of excessive and unnecessary force by the authorities in serving arrest warrants. I'm Deivid Lira. Newsline World starts now. First in the news, the camp of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ held a press conference in Davao City to refute all the twisted stories being used against them, including the recent statements of the authorities and some government officials saying what they did was legal and with maximum tolerance. Just days after the traumatic event of June 10, where heavily armed forces raided various KOJC compounds, the Philippine National Police, PNP, defended their actions as legal and justifiable. They alleged that the KOJC missionaries attacked them and used water cannons, a claim contradicted by CCTV footage and video presented by KOJC. On June 13, KOJC unveiled the truth and narrated the event with solid evidence. Sister Eleonor Cardona, the church's executive secretary, expressed the emotional toll of the event and the frustration over misreported facts.
Yung nangyari noong June 10, mas lalong masakit kasi lahat ng lumabas na news baliktad sa mga nangyari. That is why nandito kami ngayon upang magsalita at isiwalat ano talagang totoo na nangyari.
Carlo Catil, one of the KOJC ministers, described their usual morning devotional prayers abruptly interrupted by alarms and the sight of the compound gates shaking. He suddenly saw a man with a helmet trying to climb over the gate, which alarmed him, and he called his fellow missionaries. He recounted trying to communicate with the authorities peacefully.
Hindi po kami papayag na basta-basta na for us po kasi parang trespassing po yun. Nagtatanong kasi kami, ano para saan ba ito, sir, ma'am? Hanggang sa punta sila, umatras sila doon kasi nga binugahan po namin ng water cannon. That is a sign of self-defense po namin. Biruin nyo, kami pa po nakaisip para ayaw kasi namin ng kaguluhan. Palagi kami sumisigaw, sir, tama na po, sir. Ano bang kailangan ninyo? May lawyer po kami. Yun po ang ini-insist namin. In my part po, sinabi ko talaga, sir, may black and white, may dokumento po ba tayo, sir? Kasi, sir, may lawyer. Pwede po tayo makapaghintay sa lawyer po namin. As if they are not listening at wala silang narinig.
Sister Donna also mentioned how even children were traumatized by the events.
So, hindi natin maiwasan na pag nagtunog talaga yung siren, makita nyo talaga yung fear sa mga mukha ng mga bata.
Meanwhile, attorney Israelito Torion refuted claims by officials justifying the excessive force, including issues on rules of engagement. Asked by the media whether there could have been a failure on intelligence, attorney Torion said,
I don't think there was a failure of intelligence. There was no intelligence at all. I would like to correct again, perhaps to infuse some intelligence to these answer of DOJ USEC Raul Vasquez by saying that there are rules of engagement in the implementation of the warrant of arrest. Under Rule 113, Section 2 of the Rules of Criminal Procedure, it is very clear that no violence or unnecessary force shall be used in making arrest. The policemen, if you can see the footage, were already scaling the walls. And what does that tell you? Ano pong masasabi natin dyan? Labag po yan sa rules of engagement. Because the first rule is, you should announce your authority and purpose for serving the warrant of arrest. And to whom should you announce it? To the owner of the house or to the administrator of the facility. So if it was illegal, then defense of property would therefore apply, and if defense of property would apply, the actions therefore of the members of KOJC are legal. Kayo ang nag-violate ng rules of engagement, hindi po ang members ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ.
Meanwhile, Attorney Adam Jabangan also emphasized the violation the police authorities.
A violation of the right of the people to be informed as to ano yung gagawin. Because when you say arrest, or if you are holding a warrant of arrest, there's a separate rule. And when you say you are armed with a search warrant, there is also a different rule for that. It's basic in criminal procedure that Rule 113 is for the arrest, and Rule 126 is for the search.
The legal counsel also explained and stressed that they were not obstruction of justice committed.
In this case, we did not prevent them of implementing the warrant of arrest. Lahat kami uniform yung protocol na we will welcome the implementation. It's just that we need to have it organized, and we have to do it in a reasonable and proper manner, ang execution.
The KOJC camp is now studying the possible charges they will file against the authorities involved in the violations. To recall, former President Rodrigo Duterte, who is also the administrator of the KOJC properties, vows to go after the police who violated the law. Meanwhile, the Executive Secretary of KOJC shared the last message of Pastor Apollo Sikiboloy when they last met about the kingdom.
Pastor Lex, he said, this is our alamo. This is our last stand. We will not give it to anyone. Kasi ito na yun. This is our only place. This is our birthright. Ito yung lugar namin.
Former President Rodrigo Duterte will not let the violation of the law and the use of force by the PNP staff of CIDG in the serving of an arrest warrant for Pastor Apollo Sikiboloy and the 5 others on Monday go unnoticed. Let's hear more from Paul Motibo.
Various videos of the simultaneous raid by the Philippine National Police Special Action Force and the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group on the compounds of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, which spread on social media, sparked criticisms against the police. Even though not members of the KOJC, fellow Filipinos also cry for justice due to the blatant violation of human rights by the authorities. In his latest statement on Thursday, June 13, former President Rodrigo Duterte said that for the members of KOJC and all who uphold the law, June 10, 2024 will be remembered as a day of infamy. He said that heavily armed battalions of the PNP staff and CIDG raided various church compounds in Barangay Buhangin and Tamayong, Davao City, at Glory Mountain, Q Sands Baptismal Resort, Samal Island, and at Kitbug Compound, Malongon, Sarangani Province, ostensibly in a coordinated effort to serve warrants of arrest on Pastor Apollo Kibuloy. According to Duterte, aside from the over-publicized arrest warrants, the raiding authorities did not present any search warrant for all the properties of the church they raided. This is a clear violation of the law. It was an overkill in any language. This act cannot go unpunished. warns the former president. He said that while he is saddened in holding accountable the involved authorities due to his strong support for the police and the armed forces of the Philippines, he must do so as the administrator of the church's properties. Duterte has ordered the preparation of affidavits of all members hurt and traumatized in the unfortunate incident, as well as the inventory of damaged church properties. He also reminded that only the church but also law officials to take appropriate action because the said trespass was broadcasted on social media worldwide, sending a wrong signal that the country has become a police state with no respect for the law and the religious institutions. While the damage has been done, the opportunity is there to rectify the errors brought about by the trampling of basic rights in the conduct of this illegal raid by granting the reliefs and legal remedies provided by law. Duterte also criticized the current administration. He said that the administration's unfortunate obsession to demonize Pastor Kibuloy even before he could be convicted by a court of law is a clear maneuver to divert attention from the deepening crisis spawned by corruption, incompetence, and abuse of power. Despite his heavy heart, he said he needs to act against those responsible for the coordinated but illegal raid. The law, he said, must be upheld. Lastly, Duterte said that what happened should serve as a warning and a lesson to all who follow and implement illegal and unlawful orders, as there are serious consequences for blind obedience. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, reporting Paul Montibon, SMNA News.
Kingdom of Jesus Christ once again presents evidence against the statement of the Philippine National Police that it was legal and that they exercised maximum tolerance in the raid on the KOJC compounds. Jade Calabroso has the news.
In the footage on June 10 at 5:45 in the morning, armed police officers, as if going to war, can be seen approaching the compound of KOJC at Glory Mountain, Davao City.
Kasi nasa gobyerno kayo, kami wala kaming armas.
This is the voice of a church missionary. They said they were unarmed, yet it is clear that the armed authorities carried armalite and rifles. For a few moments, the voices of those inside the compound can be heard screaming in fear. The pleas to wait for the KOJC lawyer can also be heard.
Hindi pa ninantay yung abogado namin, sir. Yan yung ginawa nila. Nila yung mantay yung abogado namin. Wala kami justisya.
After a few moments, the destruction of the gate began. When a part of the gate fell, KOJC missionaries, mostly women and children, can be seen waiting and pleading while blocking the authorities' entry. They slightly retreated, but after a few moments, they suddenly advanced and pushed the missionaries inside the compound. The gate continues to be destroyed until a commotion occurred, resulting in injuries to some native missionaries and farmers. Some miners were also handcuffed. Just this Wednesday, in its official statement, KOJC refuted the PNP's lie that it was legal and that they exercised maximum tolerance. It can be recalled that in a press conference of PNP Davao Region, it was said that some KOJC missionaries are planning to file obstruction of justice charges. However, according to Attorney Kay Lorente, KOJC Legal Counsel, the missionaries were only protecting their homes. And it was clarified that when the KOJC lawyers arrived at the compound, they immediately assisted with the arrest warrant, showing the missionaries' compliance with the law. Meanwhile, former President Rodrigo Duterte will not let the alleged excessive and unnecessary force in serving arrest warrants at KOJC compounds go unaddressed. According to the former president, the raid was illegal because they did not have search warrants and therefore they should be held accountable. Duterte is the appointed administrator of KOJC properties. Duterte also emphasized in his latest statement that the current administration's obsession with painting Pastor Apollo as evil, even before he is convicted, is a clear diversion from the escalating situation and crisis in the country brought about by corruption and abuse of power. For my beloved Philippines, this has been Jade Calabroso, SMNA News.
Former cadre Jafrica Eric Celis revealed that the police are being used in dirty political games. This is in connection with the abuse and harassment by the PNP SAF and PNP CIDG on members of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Because of this, our Muslims, brothers and sisters, cannot help but fear that it might be done to them as well. Amar Fosuelo reports.
Gun threats, scaling walls, breaking gates, deploying snipers, and abusing defenseless civilians were just some of the inhumane actions by the PNP Special Action Force and PNP CIDG when they raided not just one, not two, but 5 compounds of the religious group Kingdom of Jesus Christ or KOJC in the early morning of June 10. The result of the raid: fear and severe trauma among KOJC members, especially the children. The abuse by the PNP was captured on video and CCTV footage, which have now been uploaded on social media, seen by thousands, showing how the uniformed officers desecrated the congregation's sacred place. For former cadre Jafrica Eric Celis, it is clear that the police violated the human rights of the church members.
Nakikita sa lahat ng video, independent and viral resources of information ang kumakalat ngayon. Nanakit sila ng mga bata, kababaihan, hindi armadong mga sibilyan. Anong tawag doon? Yun ba ay makatarungan? Yun ba ay rules of procedure? Yun ba ay nasa rules of engagement? Yun ba ay nasa SOP, Standard Operating Procedure? Mag-review nga kayo, General Marbil at Colonel Jean Pajardo. Huwag niyong lokohin ang mamamayan. Taong bayan po ang umuhusga ngayon sa inyo. Nagiging Gestapo police kayo, kagaya ng Gestapo police ni Hitler noong World War II.
He said the action of the police were heinous.
Ito po ay karumal-dumal at hindi po dapat pinapabayaan na hindi mapuna. Karumal-dumal in the sense that the excessive use of power of the state have been used to a very independent and very publicly known religious group and community, and yet ginamitan ng pang-combat ng mga puwersa.
After the incident, it was surprising that the PNP Police Regional Office 11 and the PNP National Headquarters immediately released statements denying what happened. According to PRO 11, the police who raided the place of worship only carried basic equipment. Meanwhile, the PNP headquarters said there were enough police officers present and that no one was harmed during the operation, even though many were hurt and shocked by their actions.
Malinaw po, malinaw pa sa tanghaling tapat ng sinag ng araw na nagsisinungaling ang pamunuan at mga tagapagsalita ng Philippine National Police. Ang Special Action Force, 2 batalyon mahigit, ay pang-combat. Ito po ay ginagamit sa anti-terrorism. Ito ay ginagamit sa mga special operations, sa mga high-level crime operations, anti-crime operations. Ang tanong, ang Kingdom of Jesus Christ, si Pastor Kibulet at ang kanyang mga ministro, are they terrorists? So makikita mo overkill, overacting at very excessive, abusive deployment of state power ang ginamit ng Philippine National Police.
Ka-Eric added that what the PNP staff and PNP CIDG did was shameful and that their heinous actions tarnish their organization. He also said it is clear that the police are now being used in dirty political games.
Tama, kasi nagpapagamit sila sa maruming laro ng politika. The Philippine National Police, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, must remain professional, dedicated, and true to the commitment under the mandate of the constitutional duty nila. And what is that? To defend and protect the state and the people, not the politicians. Kaya naging katawa-tawa ngayon ang labas ng PNP. Nagsisinungaling, nagbubulid ng mga kung ano-anong mga hungkag na mga pahayag na hindi naman tumutugma sa katotohanan ng ginawa nilang paglapastangan sa karapatan ng mga reliyosong organisasyon.
Meanwhile, due to the abuses of the current administration, our Muslim brothers and sisters cannot help but fear. In an interview with SMNI News, Nailin Mama, a representative of the Muslims, said that if the police could hurt defenseless civilians and servants of God, it is not impossible for them to experience the same fate.
Hindi po malabo na gawin sa amin yan. Lalo na po yung kay Normi Suari po na. Si Normi Suari po ay kinampihan po yan si nung tumatakbo pang presidente si BBM. Kinumpanya po yan ni Normi Suari sa mga Muslim. Kaya hindi po malabo na mangyayari po yan sa amin.
Nailin could not hold back her tears upon seeing innocent children affected by the actions of the police.
Saka yung nangyari po doon sa Davao, doon sa mga walang kamuang-muang ng mga bata, at saka yung mga kababayan po, kitang-kita po namin kung gaano po inaano ng mga otoridad na dapat po ang otoridad ay kakampi ng taong bayan. Pero parang ang nangyayari po, parang sila na po yung nakiging kaaway, imbis na sila po yung kakampi namin.
Finally, they made an appeal to President Bongbong Marcos.
Pangulong BBM po, nakikiusap po kami na kung hindi mo na kayang mamuno sa Pilipinas ay bumaba na po kayo. Hindi po kayo nababagay dyan sa lugar na yan.
For God and my beloved Philippines, Almar Forsuelo, SMNI News.
Up next, and a fleet of Russian warships has arrived in Havana, Cuba for a 6-day visit, marking a significant demonstration of military presence. The trip comes at the time of escalating tensions between Russia and Western countries due to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. More news after the break. A fleet of Russian warship arrived in the Cuban capital of Havana for a 6-day visit. The trip is seen as a show of force amid escalating tensions with the West over the war in Ukraine. Sarah Santos reports.
4 vessels, including a nuclear-powered submarine, entered Havana Bay, where they offered a 21-gun salute. 2 of the military vessels conducted missile drills in the Atlantic while on their way to Cuba, according to Russia's Ministry of Defense. A group of Cubans welcomed the warships as they entered Havana. Havana is just 100 miles away from the U.S. state of Florida. The trip was perceived as a show of force by Russia by sending its warships for military drills in the U.S. backyard. Cuban officials last week announced the visit and made it clear the military vessels do not carry nuclear weapons and are not considered a threat to the region. Reporting, this has been Sarah Santos, SMNI News.
The supreme leader of North Korea hailed its strong ties with Moscow ahead of Russia President Vladimir Putin's anticipated visit to the East Asian country. Carla Abellana gives us the details.
North Korea's Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un called Russia an invincible comrade in arms as part of his latest message to its President Vladimir Putin. Kim made the statement ahead of Putin's anticipated visit to North Korea and Vietnam in the next few days. The official dates of the visit are yet to be announced. The North Korean leader also commended Russia for overcoming attempts by the U.S. and its allies to suppress and pressure Moscow through a series of sanctions. Delegates from both sides have increased meetings in recent months to step up diplomatic and security relations. American and South Korean officials have accused North Korea of transporting weapons to Russia to support its war against Ukraine in exchange for support in Pyongyang's nuclear and missile programs. For God and my beloved Philippines, Carla Abellana, SMNI News.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the Psalm. When God is with you, nobody can go against you. And that's all for this edition. For more updates, you may visit smninewschannel.com or follow us on our official social media accounts on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. For God and Country, the Philippines, I'm Deivid Lira, and this is Newsline World.
Subscribe to SMNI News Channel and turn on the notification bell to keep you up to date. Also visit our official social media accounts and join our community on Viber and Telegram.